Hey, it's Dr. Ko from Reset Ketamine, and I came across a really old story that really piqued my interest. And I want to share that story with you. It's about a man, a son, and their donkey. One day, a man and his son were walking their donkey into the market. And as they were walking the donkey, they passed by a group of men. And the group of men said, "Wow, look at those two. They have a donkey and they're just walking him. They're not even using or riding him." And so the man and son looked at each other and said, maybe they are right. So the man placed his son on top of the donkey and continued making their way back into the market. And as they're walking, they passed by another person who saw the son riding the donkey. And he said aloud, "Man, what a lazy son. His poor dad is walking and the son, is riding on his donkey, not even sharing and, respecting the elderly." So the man and his son, they look at each other and they say, we need to change something. So the man takes the son off and then he gets on himself on top of the donkey. And so the man who's riding on top of the donkey and his son is leading the way, continue making their way into the market. They pass by a group of women and the woman says, "Oh my goodness, look at that greedy old man. His poor son has to lead him and walk him, not even being able to ride on the donkey." And so they hear this and they're like, you know what, maybe we need to do something. So the man takes his son, puts him on top of the donkey, and now they're both riding the donkey into the market. Soon, a few minutes later, they continue walking and they pass by another group of people. And they say, "Oh my gosh, look at that poor donkey. Both the man and the son are riding on top of it. Those two should be arrested for animal abuse." And hearing this, the man and the son, they get off the donkey and they're like, what can we do? So they decide to get a stick and they tie the donkey, the forelegs and the hind legs, onto the stick. And they're now both carrying the donkey on their shoulders. And they're continuing walking, but at this time they're crossing a bridge on their way to the market. And the donkey is not really liking being attached on this pole. So he kicks one of his legs off and he falls right into the river and dies, taking along the boy as well as the man. And they all perish. What is the point of this story? Well, it's a little bit absurd, but it's a reminder that when you try to please everyone, you end up pleasing no one. I know a lot of times we can get criticism, whether that might be online or it might be in person, but at the end of the day, everyone is going to have some criticism for you. And what this means, knowing that, is you need to decide what is the best course of action for you. Because regardless of whatever you do, someone will criticize you. Everyone has their own unique perspective. Now, this also reminds me of a stoic perspective. And the Stoics, back in the days, they also faced the same challenges that we do, criticism. And one of their recommendations was when someone is criticizing you, you have to acknowledge, who is that person criticizing you? Is it someone close or is it some random stranger? And if it is some random stranger, well, they gave an example of a dog. And when you walk by a dog, it'll start barking at you because it doesn't know you. Now imagine that every time you walked by this dog at some stranger's house as you're walking through near their fence, it starts barking at you. Are you going to get upset and angry each time that happens? No. Why? Because that's what dogs do. They're protecting their house. They're protecting their property. So they're going to be barking at you, right? Now, they use this metaphor to say sometimes when we start getting criticism from other people, it's kind of like a dog that's barking at you. They don't really know you. The dog doesn't know you from the next person, and they're just going to be barking. It's up to us to not let the barking and criticism of people that we really don't know, people that we really don't care about per se, who don't know you, you don't know them, we can learn to be immune from their criticism. Because at the end of the day, when you try to please everybody, you end up pleasing nobody. And as always, please feel free to hit that like and subscribe button so that I know what information and content is really useful and interesting to you. I'll see you next time.